It seems like every report that's come out recently has had Damian Lillard going to the New York Knicks. And there's one man responsible for that. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. He went on First Take recently and broke down basically, pleaded with Damian Lillard to come to the New York Knicks. But thankfully, one of his other ESPN panel members clapped back at him and basically stated why the Knicks shouldn't go after Damian Lillard and why the Knicks are fine where they are. We're going to break down his comments and so much more today. Let's get started. According to Zack Lowe, the New York Knicks don't need to trade for Damian Lillard. Now, the reason Zack Lowe mentioned this and clapped back at Stephen A. was because of Stephen A's initial comments on First Take. If we take a look, this is why Stephen A stated that the New York Knicks should go after Damian Lillard and why the Knicks could outbid the Heat in any type of trade package. Number one, the Knicks have better assets than the Heat. 2, New York City attracts talent. 3, Julius Randle will adjust because Dame is a clear number one option. Number 4, Dame and Brunson can coexist. And 5, MSG is the Mecca. Those are the reasons why Stephen A stated that Damian Lillard should come to the New York Knicks, which prompted Zack Lowe of ESPN to say the following. Can I say something to Stephen A. Smith? I don't think the Knicks should go for Damian Lillard. Zack Lowe continued by stating, Lillard is not the right all-in play for the Knicks. According to Zack Lowe, they have Jalen Brunson. He's an all-star point guard already. And I understand that Stephen A had on his list of reasons they should go for Dame Lillard that he and Brunson can fit together just fine. Ignore the positional overlap. Offensively, that's true. Defensively, that's not going to work. Zack Lowe basically clapping back at Stephen A and stating that the New York Knicks do not need Damian Lillard at this point in time, and he is not the right all-in play for the New York Knicks to make. And why do we say all-in play? Well, it's because of the assets you're going to have to give up to get Damian Lillard. This was the potential trade that Stephen A. Smith wanted to do for the New York Knicks to acquire Damian Lillard. So according to Stephen A. Smith, he pushed the Knicks to trade 3 to 4 first-round picks, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, and either one of Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickley for Damian Lillard. Now, personally, I wouldn't do this trade because I don't want to include R.J. Barrett in that deal. It's not because I think R.J. Barrett is going to turn into a superstar or that he's better than Damian Lillard. I just want to see what Damian Lillard can do to R.J. Barrett's game once he's on the team. Because I think if you have a guard like him, and then you also got Jalen Brunson, and I think it's because of how Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard are, that if they break down a defense, R.J. Barrett's going to get the most touches he can possibly get because he's going to either be cutting or driving, you would hope. Or if he's standing by the 3 at baseline, he should have a clear either shot or clear drive to the rim because all of the defenses are going to collapse on Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, that's the reason why I would want to keep a Damian Lillard and R.J. Barrett together versus trading R.J. in a trade for Damian Lillard. I don't think that makes sense for me. I wouldn't do that. I think it's a little too expensive. Then you put on top of that the 3 to 4 first-round picks. You got Evan Fournier in that deal. You either got Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickley in that deal. So there definitely are other couple of pieces here that you may not like to include in a trade. But if you're talking about a Dame trade, these are the talks you're going to have to at least acquire him. And this might be a better package than what the Heat can give up, especially if you like the Knicks picks more than you like the Heat picks. But I absolutely agree with Zack Lowe here. The New York Knicks do not need to trade for Damian Lillard. Let me tell you why. They have Jalen Brunson. You don't need another undersized guard in the backcourt who can't defend. We saw a CJ and Dame combination when Dame was going off and CJ was more in his prime and doing even more wild things. If those two couldn't work together and get them to the final dance that they wanted to get to, then do you think Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard are going to? Look what he did from Dallas to New York in 1 year. If he replicates that and goes even bigger and better next year, which I think we all expect him to do, the sky's the limit for Jalen Brunson. And if that's the guard you have already, you don't need Damian Lillard in the backcourt with him, especially because Lillard is more of a scoring guard than a pass-first guard. Not saying he doesn't pass. He just much rather score. And Jalen Brunson's the same way. So if you have those two together, and then you keep Julius Randle as well too, I mean, that's probably the only three that's going to see the ball. You'll have to switch in and out players to cover for both of them. And I don't think the New York Knicks have enough body and enough people who play defense at an elite level to keep a backcourt of Jalen Brunson and Damian Lillard at this point in time. Again, sounds good, but doesn't make sense for me. And Zack Lowe basically echoed the same thing. And I just think if I had Jalen Brunson already, he was an all-star candidate last year, an all-NBA candidate. I'm using my assets to get a player at a different kind of position. So Stephen A., I think Damian as an all-in play for the New York Knicks, it's blasphemy. And I know he took a shot at Stephen A. by using the word blasphemy because that's basically a word that is synonymous with Stephen A. Smith, but I don't care. I agree with him. The Knicks do not need Damian Lillard. He is not the right move and not the right play for the Knicks right now. The Knicks should absolutely go after a superstar or a star player in a position they need it in. They don't need a point guard. They have one. Get me a better center who can play good defense but way better offense. Get me a wing who has great two-way play. Get me one of those positions because that is an area of need. And when we look at trades and free agents and whoever we go after, we need to make sure it fits a need. Because if it doesn't, I question why you're making the move. I question why you want to add these pieces to the team. Because if I'm looking at the Knicks and I know what they need and you're getting positions that you know you already have, it makes me question your judgment and how you're adding talent to this roster. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Damian Lillard is one of the best point guards in the league. I think he's absolutely dominant on offense. He can basically carry a team by himself. We've seen him do it time and time before. And I gotta say, Dame time is now real time because he makes it real. When you know it's final minutes and Dame has that ball in his hands, you better play defense on him like it's nobody's business. Because if you don't, he's going to take advantage of you and he's going to get his team back in the game because we've seen it too many times. His Dame Dollar shots are just phenomenal. We got to give him credit on that. So I'm not trying to take anything away from him, the player that he is, or the game that he has. I'm just talking about in terms of what the New York Knicks would need to give up for him. It would be an all-in play, which they don't need to make for a player like Damian Lillard anymore or right now. Since they've added Jalen Brunson, the need for Damian Lillard had gone down. They don't need him as much anymore. I know some of you may agree with Stephen A. Smith, but personally for me, I much more agree with Zack Lowe. Dame Lillard is not the all-in play the Knicks need to make, no matter how much Stephen A. wants that to happen. I believe the all-in play the Knicks need to make is for Joel Embiid. Now, I know that's a lot harder of a trade to definitely take place because he is part of the Sixers organization. They're a division rival, so it makes it harder. But for me, positionally, that makes sense with Joel Embiid because he's an upgrade automatically over Mitchell Robinson. But more importantly, Joel Embiid fits a need. Trading for him as an all-in trade, he's a superstar. Makes sense too. He was MVP of the league last season. That makes sense. Damian Lillard plays a position we already have a great player playing already, who's taking steps into his prime as we speak in Jalen Brunson. Stephen A. Smith, I have a spoiler alert for you. The Knicks are not trading for Damian Lillard. Not this season, not next season, not a few seasons from now, and I don't think at all. They have Jalen Brunson, and for now, they're good. But I know you're a fan of Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks as well, too. And good news on that front. I think that Donovan Mitchell to the New York Knicks is way more realistic than Dame to the Knicks. And the Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks may not cost you anything. So hope and pray for that. Plead for Donovan Mitchell to come to the Knicks because that is another upgrade offensively that if the Knicks had, they could definitely contend in the East. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a comment below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.